Ready?
Okay.
How did you start acting?
I started acting at this after-school program in elementary school, and then I started doing community shows, and I sang in choir in church and did some religious shows as well. And then I went to a performing arts high school for musical theater. And then I just decided to try professionally.
When did you understand it could be your career?
When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I went to New York and saw Wicked on Broadway, and I saw those performers just having so much fun, and it dawned on me that they were getting paid to be on stage and have fun, and it just clicked. I was like, this is what I want to do, and if I can make a living while having fun, sweet.
You were part of the cast of Heathers, a series where diversity and minorities are represented as winning and popular versus the usual loser trope for queer and divergent bodies in teen dramas. Is it a reflection of a progress that is really happening in schools right now? What was your own school experience like?
In high school, I was really shy, I was really quiet, and I just flourished on stage. I flourished in my freshman year of drama class, and I actually won Best Actor freshman year, and humble brag. And for students right now, I can't speak for them, but it's really fun to see characters on shows, in high school shows, and seeing them as the main character, and seeing them be popular and control their own narrative.
Despite a wider representation being more accessible to the mainstream audience, lately hate crimes have been all over the news, especially against Asian people. As a U.S. citizen of Chinese descent, have you ever experienced xenophobia on your own skin? How do you cope with the current situation?
Fortunately, I haven't experienced that much xenophobia. I grew up in a community that was kind of diverse, and there were other diverse kids around me. But yeah, it's awful seeing what's been happening lately, and seeing that racists have been targeting elders specifically is awful. And I've been in contact with my grandma, who's on the East Coast, and social media has been a really good tool in spreading awareness and also checking in on friends.
Is there a way the movie industry can help to change that?
Yeah, for sure. We can make diverse characters have unique stories that have been previously performed by white actors, and it's the same deal. We take on the same roles, we take on the same jobs, and we have storylines, and we can play anything.
Lately, Hollywood has also been making an effort in portraying queerness in different, non-stereotypical ways. However, many LGBTQ+ folks tend to still be sentenced to playing sassy gay or butch lesbian sidekicks on default. Do you feel like narrators tend to see your non-binary gender identities as an obstacle?
Yeah, about 5 years ago, I never saw roles come in for non-binary or gender non-conforming roles. And if I did get a trans character, they were always very surface level, very just what's on the surface. And so yeah, I felt like I had to fit into a box, and I was either going out for like the gay assistant or gay male, and it's fun to see more characters all over the gender spectrum.
How do you get to be in charge of your own narration in relation to the characters you play?
Well, luckily on Rutherford Falls, I got to sit down with the writer's room, and they asked me a bunch of questions about myself and growing up as non-binary, and I got to tell them stories, and I know that's rarely the case, so hopefully in the future I get to sit down with other writers, or I get to write my own projects and produce my own projects and tell my own stories.
At the same time, despite a few exceptions, the more LGBTQ+ characters are developed and given insight throughout the narration, the less likely an actual LGBTQ+ actors to get the part. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, we've seen that done in Hollywood many times before, and sometimes it's been pretty bad. And I think at the end of the day, we just need to give the role to the best actor, and the actor is gonna, perform what's on the script, and the actor shouldn't be hired just because they're gay or to play gay. They should, the actor should be able to tell the story, and right now we have more LGBTQ plus actors than ever, so I think every project will have the perfect actor, can find the perfect actor.
Rutherford Falls is your latest project. What was the highlight for you working on the series?
The highlight from working on Rutherford Falls was getting to collaborate with the writers. Every day before a scene, we would kind of rehearse the lines, and if we wanted to change it up, they would ask me for my input, or I would ask them for input, and it just made my character more special and more like me.
Do you believe in the educational role of cinema and storytelling, or should short stories transcend the pedagogic aspect?
I think people are going to learn from media, whether they like it or not, and working on Rutherford Falls was really special because they wove in these stories of Native Americans in such a beautiful way that it didn't feel like we were being sat down and taught in a history class. It's a really fun show to watch, and yeah, we learn a lot just through jokes too.
Is there a role or a character you would really love to play in the future?
Yeah, I'd love to play. I'd love to go back to theater and perform on stage and take on more of a dramatic role, I think.
Theater, TV, and silver screen productions are literally worlds apart when it comes to acting. Which ones were you able to experience so far, and which did you like best?
I really loved theater. Picking up a play is always fun, and diving into the character and the whole story is there right in front of you. And one of my favorite parts of performing on stage is that I get to pick up a play and I choose a character that doesn't necessarily fit my gender or fit the gender that it was written for. So I get to kind of turn it into my own.
We love that more and more trans people are starting to tell their own side of the story. Have you ever thought of doing that yourself?
Sure, of course, yeah. I plan to write my own screenplays and produce my own projects one day, and I hope I can tell stories that are authentic to non-binary people.
What's a new project that you're excited about?
You'll have to tune in and see. There's a couple things in the works.